Okay, moving on then. Okay, so the grooming gang story is obviously huge in the United Kingdom. We've basically touched on it every single week in one of the episodes of Trending. We've got a huge interview on Iconic at the moment exposing the grooming gangs, particularly in Oldham. So this story broke a couple of days ago, and it kind of blows my mind really, because this story is from the 1990s, right? So this abuse happened in the late 90s, and these people have been held accountable. I'll let you be the judge of whether they've been held accountable or not. Now, right. So this thing has gone on for 30 years. So basically, it was a grooming gang in a place called Keighley, which is I think on the outskirts of Bradford.
Yorkshire way.
So it's Yorkshire.
There's a steam railway there. I'm surprised you've not been.
No, I haven't been actually. And so the story broke. I think it's 8 guys. They've been held accountable. They've been found guilty. They've been sentenced to imprisonment. Good. Okay. Right. Let's read the story. Now these guys, brothers, uncles, cousins, basically one family essentially.
Right.
Again, it's a Pakistani group of men. They abused girls that were 13 and 14. 2 girls, 13 and 14. That's children. Now, this went on for a long period of time. They drugged them. They drugged them with heroin. I mean...
Jesus.
I mean, the particular drug, it's not as if that should make a difference, but heroin...
That alone destroys lives.
Well, that alone destroys lives. And what it did, obviously, because it is so highly addictive, then these girls became heroin addicts. They became heroin addicts and alcoholics, which they then used basically to manage the pain and trauma of what was happening, because this was a situation where they were basically being held in a flat, and these men were queuing up outside to take their turn, right? They were also then prostituted out, these 2 girls. They were put out on the street, essentially, pimped out. So at last, it's all come out. Fantastic, right, imprisoned. There's varying sentences. The highest is 14 years in prison, right? So you look at that, you go 14 years. 14 years is a long time, not long enough. I'd personally be firing them out of a cannon into shark-infested waters. But 14 years, okay. Then you look at the rest of them, and it just drops dramatically.
Yeah, it does,
right? We're talking 4 years, most of them. And then this one, he got the lowest. So this is why I'm covering him. So Sajid Mahmood Khan, 45, from Keighley, is jailed for 3 years for rape. This is BBC. 3 years for rape.
So he's out in 18 months probably then.
So you go, okay. So for context, after the Southport stabbings, obviously people went onto social media and they tweeted some stuff that was a little bit spicy. One of them was called Lucy Connolly. Now, she's a childminder who was married, I think, to a counsellor, a Tory counsellor. She tweeted basically, along the lines of, burn the migrant hotels with them in it for all I care. Now, it's not a very nice thing to say. It's not a bright thing to say. And she deleted it and apologised very, very quickly when she realised that in the heat of the moment of these 3 young girls in Southport being murdered, she, wrote something stupid, very stupid, deleted it and apologised. Okay, so she got a slightly higher sentence in prison, just over 3 years, for a tweet than this guy, this complete douchebag, got for rape.
I can't compute that, mate.
Now...
I can't compute that.
People will say 2-tier justice, 2-tier care. People, that's a lazy... Mate, can I give you a bigger example than going to prison for over 3 years for an ill-advised tweet compared to going for 3 years for raping a child? I mean, honestly. And so you look at this and you go, right, okay, so the grooming gangs, right, the Labour Party, they obviously didn't want an investigation. Then they've been hoodwinked into it and kind of pressured into it essentially by public pressure. And, not a fan of Elon Musk, but he would have helped with that. It's going to be a whitewash, of course it is, just like Operation U-Tree and all these other child abuse investigations. But you look at it and you go, okay, there is an investigation. Okay, so what will come out of that investigation? Well, maybe you'll find some people guilty. Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? Well, not if they're getting 3 years for rape. It's not.
No, it's not.
What's the point?
It's disgusting. They should have life without parole.
And the rest, mate. Honestly, chuck them in the sea, a lot of them.
And one thing that's interesting, actually, today, I forgot to mention, just on this. You know the counsellor that said about slitting the throats of anyone? His trial's today. His trial and sentencing is today. And there's another person who was involved on the sort of kill everyone that's protesting against this. Their trials today as well.
Well, that would be interesting to see how that is.
Because he literally called for the death of anyone who was protesting. Slit their throats, he said, and we'll put that video in.
They are disgusting, nasty bastards, and we need to cull their throats and get rid of them all.
You can see that, and you can see how the pathetic virtue-signalling woman next to him, who hands him the mic, sort of feels a bit, and then goes, yeah, fuck off, idiot. Sorry for swearing, but that's absolutely disgusting. It's such a disgusting issue that people are even debating it.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. Okay, so moving on.